This is an SM Media production.
Things are gonna get better real soon. Yeah, I'ma just do me, you just do you. I swear it's gonna get better real soon. Don't let anyone tell you what you should do. I got a clear view. We're gonna make it soon. Just keep pushing through.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Sit Down right here on SM Media. I'm Scott McPike, delighted to be your host as always, joined by the former Rangers, St Johnstone and Morton striker, Peter MacDonald, Peaso. Peter, it's an absolute delight to welcome you on the show, mate. Thanks very much for joining me.
Thanks for the invite.
No worries, how you doing? All right?
Aye, all's good. Obviously, difficult circumstances, but we're all in the same boat, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. How you been keeping busy during the current situation?
2 kids. 2 kids at 4 and 7. Keep you busy. No, I've just been trying to keep myself occupied, going long walks, and just take my mind off things. And that's what I did the first lockdown, and hopefully it helped me well then. So hopefully it helped me this time.
Were you missing football?
Madly. Miss playing it, miss watching it, miss being at games. I've actually fortunate enough that I've been to a couple of games for St Johnstone in the co-commentary. So I'm fortunate enough to get into 2 or 3 games of that. And I went to watch one Morton v Hearts as well. I get into that just through a report, and it was great. Fair. I wrote the game wasn't great, but it was just about rehearsing at a game.
It's just the buzz of getting back into the stadium, innit? We'll start off by talking about your career in football. We'll start off with your early years. Just talk a wee bit about what it was like for you growing up and your family life and things like
that. I was born in Pollock, south side of Glasgow, for people who don't know it. Born and raised there, big family, lots of uncles, aunties, and really working class. At the time, growing up, Pollock was it was a rough area, as well as the outskirts of it, Nits Hill. It was renowned for gangland, crime, and just the usual, murders and things like that. So I was born and raised there. Started playing my football career with Holwood Boys Club, which my uncle started in 1966.
Right.
So they're still going strong today. Holwood produced a fair amount of players. Alec McLeish played for them. Kenny Burns, Nottingham Forest, double European Cup winner. Tommy Clyde, myself, John Paul McGovern. There's quite a lot of people came through the structure of the Holwood setup. So I played there and go and train with the clubs you were scouted for.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that was sort of the start of my early life. Brought up in Pollock, rough estate, and had to grind my way through things.
Brilliant. Obviously, when you what was your kind of early memories? Obviously, were you a Rangers fan growing up?
Yeah, I was born into a Rangers family. Yeah.
And who were your kind of heroes when you were growing up? And what was your favourite memories when young?
Oh, it's the one and only Coisty. Super Ali was my hero, and other my old man. He still is to this day.
Yeah.
When you're of age, 5, 6, 7 onwards, you realise that you think that scoring goals is a be all and end all in a football match. You don't realise the other 11 players, or other 10 players, what they do. But no, it was always at the back garden or in the field or wherever I was playing football. It was always McCoist, and I would put my Rangers strip on to a celebration. And there was a few Coisty celebrations back in the day, especially scoring against Celtic, so I'd reenact them. But Coisty was my hero. There's hands down my hero.
Brilliant. And then obviously your boys club days as well. Just talk about your kind of favourite memories of kind of growing up in the boys club, and what was your kind of best moments?
That's where it all started. I loved every minute of it. If I could turn back time and go there again and start it all the way I did, then I wouldn't change a thing. Started off at Holwood. Memories where my uncle was a manager. My dad's mate was a coach. My dad was involved in the committee along with John Paul McGovern's dad. So there was a few of them in it. And before you know it, we've got a really, really good team. Just all natural boys. A lot of them from Pollock, a lot of them out with Pollock, and it got to the stage where you're competing in the top league. I think it was the SYCA Glasgow, which was it was meant to be the top league at the time, out with Paisley and East Kilbride and all that. And it probably was. And you're at the top of the league there, and you're playing against your Rangers and Celtics, who should be better, because Rangers Supporters Association were affiliated to Rangers, and Celtic were affiliated to Celtic. So they had the best of gear, best of blazers and shirt and ties, and so it was always a wee bit special, even to beat Rangers and Celtic growing up. And before you know it, we were by far the best team. We won everything for a couple of years. A lot of the team gets scouted to go senior, and then I think it got to 14 where the pro youth sort of started.
Right.
Things just sort of, people were going their own separate ways. I went to Rangers, and John Paul McGovern went to Celtic. John Hamill, Stephen Hamill's brother, he went to Partick Thistle. Scott Shearer went to St Johnstone. Other boys went to St Johnstone, my cousin. So it sort of ended really at under 14. But the memories I have for that were memories that will last a lifetime. You know, I still chuckle, and we still keep in contact. We had a reunion not so long ago. We won the Scottish Cup in 1992-93, and we had a big reunion a couple of years ago where we all got together, parents as well, and we had a big function, charity day for the club, and I got an all-star team to play against the Hollywood team that we won the Scottish Cup with. You know, I called on a few favours. It was what a day it was.
Brilliant. And obviously, when you kind of do well at boys' club days, you get some offers from other kind of big pro clubs. When was it first? When did you first get the knowledge that Rangers were looking at you, and how did the scouting process work?
It wasn't Rangers first. If it was Hearts at first.
Right, okay.
I went to Hearts at under 10s, I think, just as a pup. Under 9, under 10, and then I got asked to go Celtic and other clubs like that, and then Rangers. And I trained with Hearts, then trained with Rangers at the same time. And my coach at Hearts, it was Billy Duncanson, who was the old Ranger. He ended up becoming the Rangers head of youth. I decided to go to Rangers and leave Hearts so I could concentrate on that, being at my boyhood club. Went there, and it was about 6 months later, Billy got approached by Rangers to come be the coach. So Billy followed on, and we had a bit of banter, because obviously I'd known Billy, and I was right there from, I'd probably say about 9-year-old to 10-year-old roughly is when I started at Rangers.
Brilliant. And when you get to the age of 15, you're in 1995, who was coming through at the same time as you? Like, there was in the good youth team? When I went full time a year early. Okay.
Because the way I was in 16 to the November, I was never going to be a scientist at school, so I thought my results weren't great. I just wanted to be a football player. So the school and John Chalmers, who was the head of youth at the time, God rest him, who's passed away, made a deal with the school, and I went in full time. And so I went in. It was a full year early. I went in. So you get Barry Ferguson, Scott Wilson was a wee bit older, but he was there. Boyack, Jimmy Gibson, who made it at Rangers. He played a couple of games, Partick Thistle, Clyde. Bob Malcolm, Maurice Ross, Stephen Hughes, Alan McGregor, Mark Brown. There's so many, you know, that went on to have a Graham Smith, the other goalie, Graham Smith. Paul McHale, Stevie Carson. You know, with then there was a generation. If you didn't make it at Rangers, you went on and had a decent career elsewhere.
Yeah, definitely. The two coaches I want to touch on during that time were John McGregor and John Brown. Just how hard were they on you, and how good was that for you in future?
Oh, it was super tough, but it was a tough love, to be honest. You know, they set standards and everything they done about the place, how you folded the kit you were putting out, how just everything had a standard to it. And it used to be the Rangers standard, you know. you pass a ball. It wasn't a sloppy pass wobbling into your teammate. It was a firm pass. It was called a Rangers pass. You know, they just set standards, which I probably carried through my career. To be honest, till I retired. But if it's no good enough to just be mediocre, they set a winning mentality as well. You know, Rangers players find a way to win. That was it. Growing up for under 16, right through to I left. Rangers players find a way to win no matter what. If it's ugly, if it's nice, if it's no nice in the eye, you find a way to win if things aren't going right. And then still, let's say the winning mentality. And I'd probably say a resilience in us all, but also for that old school mentality when shouting the ball was a big thing, you know. And some people did, you know, crumble with it. A lot of us never crumbled. I was the one for crumbling, you know. I was born and raised where if you're getting shouted at, you've obviously not been done well enough. And that was the mentality back then. I hold it to in a high regard. I still keep in contact with Bomber now and again. John McGregor, not as much. But you know, I still think it was 2000 when I signed for Dundee. You know, when I met Bomber before I signed with Dundee, and he was a big part of me going there after having coached me, I think, 12 maybe to 15 years earlier. So that's how high I regard a whole Bomber and John McGregor, two fantastic coaches with a winning mentality and didn't suffer fools. If you weren't willing to work, then you didn't deserve to be on your training pitch or on their pitch. You just worked you off, which was fine by me, and a lot of other people, like I said, couldn't cope with it.
Yeah, Barry Ferguson's a player that could cope with it. How demanding was he on the park? What's your best Barry Ferguson story?
Well, there's millions, you know. I remember Fergie fighting me, Bomber, and all that. You know, it was ridiculous because Fergie was fiery, Bomber was fiery, but Fergie was incredible. You know, if Fergie was Spanish or Italian, it'd be spoke about non-stop. But because he's Scottish, he's for Glasgow or for Hamilton. You know, the Rangers fans probably don't appreciate him as they would. For example, Reno Gattuso. Fergie was a better player than Reno Gattuso. That's why Dick Advocaat got rid of Reno Gattuso. Him or Fergie. Fergie was top draw, and it was underrated by some Rangers fans. I'm not saying the majority, but his teammates. And you look at Giovanni, Van Bronckhorst, and the players who came in at the time. Fergie was the best. He was the best midfielder. Reina, Alberts, and it was a step above. And plus, he had that winning, fiery mentality, which comes back to John McGregor and John Brown.
Definitely. You had 5 years at Ibrox and the first team appearance. Like how hard was it to kind of get to that first team stage? Like, did you find it tough?
It was very tough. You look at the time, it was the Advocaat, Rain. Well, even before that, Walter Smith and Gaza and Loudrup were there. That was my first year. Coyce was flying. Then Advocaat came in and was given even more money to spend. Yeah. You look at the signings he made, Mikey Moles, who was top drawer. Flo, Amato, Eric Bo Anderson was already in there for Walters. Yeah. It was just an endless list of top international players. So it was going to always be difficult for a homegrown kid to break through, because you weren't going to break through unless you were better than what they had in there. And at the time, I wasn't better than Mikey Moles or Victoria or anything like that. So that's how tough it was. Peter Lovington's managed to do it, a close friend of mine. Although Peter was bought for just over £1 million. He managed to come in and cement his place in the wide area at that time, which was again a great achievement. But we knew what we were getting into. It's like any Rangers, you know, you have that sort of ray of hope where you're going to be that individual that will break the mould and become a first team player. But it wasn't to be for me, you know. But it's had a good schooling, put it that way.
What's your kind of best kind of dressing room memories I've been in there? What was the best kind of stories that stick out to you?
Oh, there was millions. There was absolute millions. Some that I can't reveal on here. I remember one day Barry Robson. Celtic player, but he came through, was it Rangers,
right,
16 to, he was in the shower area, and Oleg, as it was called Oleg Kuznetsov, because he looked like him, was swinging these wet slips about, and that was in the dressing room, away dressing room at the time. You were getting hit with flip-flops, wet slips, or dirty boots. It was just the raw mentality of the dressing room. And he says, he's swinging it around, he's going, the next fucker that walks in this dressing room door's getting fucked with these slips. So he's swinging it, and as the door opens, he just froze it. And who was the next person to walk in but Bomber? And it hit Bomber full blown, with these muddy, wet slips in his face. And it just dropped in his voice. Bomber's like, you fucking out here, follow me. Fucking next minute, we're on stitches, but we dared didn't laugh. Oleg is shut the door, and the door was shut. The Bomber was further away, and we were in tears. We still talk about it. We've got a group chat. We still the boys from 95 to 2000. We set up a group chat last year, and that was hilarious. There was hundreds and hundreds more, which a lot of them I can't reveal.
Is that why you didn't make it, Rangers, for
that? No. Oleg was a great player. To be fair. He's a wee bit. I think he'd probably be one to admit he was a crackpot. He was wild, absolutely wild, and I think maybe that was why he got let go at 18. But he went on to Inverness, Cali, big things here, and earned his move to United and Celtic.
Definitely. Seeing the 5 years you were at Rangers, do you have any kind of regrets at how it kind of ended for you?
Probably no. I got to the stage where I was top goals from the Resi League the year we won the 21s league. Sorry, and I was playing well. I think I scored 21 goals or something that year. I'm unsure. The top goal scorer, and I think the league was done. Where Rangers had won it, or they hadn't won it, Celtic had won it. And I thought, you know what, I might have a wee chance to hopefully get into the bench or something, because the league was done. And it never materialised. But I've been offered a 2-year extension, so I was 20-year-old. I would have been 21 in November. I was offered, so they took me up to I was 22, a new contract, 2-year contract, which to know put the first team game was fairly old. And also the finances, I thought I wanted a bit more money, to be honest, and it's sort of back and forth. So I refused the contract. I met Dick Advocat, and he says to us, listen, you could be, I want you on the bench every week. And at that time, my good mate Maurice Ross was on the bench every week, although he only played 10 minutes. And I said that to the boss. I said, boss, no disrespect, but I've seen Mo be on the bench for every game this season, and he played 10 minutes. And I've seen how frustrated it was when he came down to play with us and went back into train with yous. And again, back and forth. He went and he says, and he gave a good answer. He said, yes, but Morris is a defender. You are a striker. Strikers always go on. And I was like, it's a fair point. And me and my agent at the time, John Viola, we left thinking, you know what did I do? And before I knew it, Stoke City had offered 50 grand up front, 25 games another 50, then 25 games another 50, so it was a 150 grand deal. And again, this is back 20 years ago, so another 50 grand, maybe 600 grand now. It was quite a lot of money for somebody that hadn't played football. And Rangers knocked it back because it wasn't all up front. So I went away pre-season, came back fit as anything, still hadn't signed the contract. So I would end up having to go to month deals for Rangers to keep the compensation for me. And then just out of the water, St Johnstone had sold Momo Silla to Celtic on the Tuesday, I think, or the Wednesday. And Sandy Clark phoned me with the company St Johnstone. They were going to try and put a bid in to buy me. I said, if you can get the deal sorted at your end, then I'll come up and have a chat. I was up the following morning having a chat. I went along to John McGregor, to be fair, and I was walking along the corridor, and he walked towards me and he says, I've just had Sandy Clark on the phone. I said, I know, I've just had St Johnstone on the phone. They want to buy you. He says, it's up to you, kid. I said, I've just spoke to Sandy Clark. I said, John, what would you do? And he says to me, I would go, kid, go and make as much money as you can. So I did. I ended up signing on the Friday evening, which was Thursday. I went on the Friday, signed Friday afternoon, and made my debut the following day on a Saturday. But no, I've no regrets. The only regret maybe would be when I left. 3 months later, the sort of money went out of Rangers. Advocat went upstairs came in and he was playing boys who I was ahead at that time. You know, Dobie, McLean, things like that, Duffy, Darryl Duffy, and I was ahead of him at the time in the pecking order. So maybe I would have got a sniff then. But listen, I'd like to think that I've no regrets in my career, and I've enjoyed every bit of it so far.
Brilliant. See, when you were into St Johnstone, were you eager to prove a point because you came for Rangers?
No, I knew that I would have to be, you know, at the top of my game, because they paid a lot of money for me for a young boy who's 20-year-old. And Sandy Clark, I appreciate Sandy Clark doing that. I just wanted to go in there because I had the work ethic anyway, which was instilled in me. The Rangers, it was just the fact that I had to go there and try and put experienced players out of the team. You know, Darren Jackson, Paddy Conley, Wally Faulkner, Keegan Parker, to name quite a few. And that was my main aim. I did that. I think I played 16 starts in my first season, which it was no bad. 5 goals, which wasn't great, but I played a lot of the games in the wide left area. But no, it was the work ethic was always there, and that came from, like I said, Bomber and McGregor Rangers days.
Brilliant. See, your first season as well, Billy Stark replaces Sandy Clark as manager. How good was Billy Stark for you as well? Starkey
was brilliant. So was Sandy Clark. Sandy was only in the gig 6 weeks when I when I joined. Only last 6 weeks. We beat 4-0 away to Hibs at Easter Road, and that was it. The following Monday was sacked, and Starkey came in. Starkey was brilliant. Starkey was absolutely fantastic with everybody. You know, a lovely guy, good coach, and I just think maybe if Starkey had been able to build his own team at the start, then you never know quite what would have went down, you know, because I know at the time St Johnstone weren't throwing big money about to buy players in or get loan signings in. But no, he was great. Starkey was at 3 years. He was there 3 years when I was there. And he was there at a time when my dad had cancer. So at the time, my dad was terminal, and Starkey, I'll never forget Starkey for the way he treated me. Basically, just take as much time off as you need. You be with your family, be with your mum, you know, and your dad. And I'll never forget that wee touch of class from him. I took a week off, and I come back in. He says, "You should get right." I said, "I'd rather be about the boys than know."
It's first class, isn't it? It's brilliant. Brilliant when a manager does that for you. Your first season, you get relegated. What did you kind of think went wrong that season to get relegated?
I think we were too old. I think the squad was too old. To be honest, good players in their day, top players in the day. Dan Jackson, Wally Faulkner, like that says. Paul Kane was there, Nick Dazovic, but they were 30, I think it was 5-35s. Benito Campbell was there. He was 35 as well. You know, and I don't think we had the legs, to be honest. Me being a young pup coming out, probably not realising what it was like to play with older players like that. His legs were something you had in a youth team in abundance, and when you went to first team level, to recognise that, you know, we're getting sort of ran over here, was quite probably a statement that we couldn't fix because the players were on year-long contracts.
Yeah. The season after, you pick up an injury 6 games in, and you're out till March. Like, what went wrong? What caused injury?
It was I'm sure it was it my groin? I think it was my groin came off the bone. Trying to think. I think my adductor muscle came off the bone, the tendon, and I was out for a right long period. Let's see, I think 6 months. Did you say?
Yeah, 6 months.
Yeah. That was that. You know, but that was to be probably the first of many big injuries I had.
Yeah.
You know, but that was a sore one because I think we came second that year. If I'm right. Third.
Falkirk and Clyde, I think, were above you. And you finished third that season. Were you eager just to get into the next season and solidify a place in the team?
Aye. I think when you once you get back into the team and the season's cut short, then you know you don't want it cut short because you've only played really 2 months, and you just need to come back pre-season as fit as you possibly can, and ready to go. Yeah.
And who are the good kind of characters in that team? Like who was good for a bit of banter in the dressing room?
The first year I went,
Just for the first few years you were there, like.
Paul Kano was he was a character. Keegan Parker was a character on just because he was so stupid. No, I generally mean that he was so stupid. I'll give you an example of Keegan. He'd signed a good deal there, and Paul Kane said, "Wee man, don't piss your money up against a wall.
Yeah.
Go invest in a wee house, let it out, or move into it, whatever." So he went and bought a house, in wherever they say, Bathgate, I think it was at the time, in Livingston. And Kano came into the dressing room one day, came in the shower, in fact, and he's got a towel on him. He says, "Oh, Keegs," he says, "how's the house coming on, wee man?" Keegan says, "Aye," seriously, he says, "Aye, good, Kano." He said, "I've got everything done." He said, "I'm just waiting for a carpenter to come in and fit the carpets." So he's like, "What?" Then another time he's went into he rolled his ankle in training, and the physio gave him a anti-inflammatory, a Voltarol, and says, "Here, take that with food." So Keegan's went into, got dressed at the kitchen at the time, and he's getting his lunch, and I'm behind him in his lunch, and he's got a roll. He's buttered the roll, put salad, ham on it, salad, mayo, and put the tablet on top of it and close the roll over. And I said, "What are you doing?" He went, "Oh, Nick said I should take this with food," and I just burst out laughing. I said, "Fucking half what?" I said, "You can't. It's not to do like that." I said, "It just means eat first, then take it." He's like, "Oh right, I didn't ken, like, you know." And he's sort of Edinburgh accent, but that's just an example of Keegan at the time. Dan Dodds was a good lad as well.
Yeah.
Big Doddsy, he said, was on yesterday. Doddsy was silent assassin. His wee one-liners, you know, something was going wrong, or he would just nail a wee one-liner, and just because it was so random and rare for Doddsy, it would be funny. So no, there were a few characters.
Brilliant. The 03-04 season, the season you play pretty well for most of it, but then you pick up another injury and miss the rest of the season. Were you kind of getting the feeling that you were going to struggle a lot with injuries in your career?
No. I think that season was a broken foot.
Mm-hmm.
I broke my foot and actually played on it. And I think I did play quite a bit. I think I broke my foot in February. Would I be right?
Yeah.
But I'd actually
a really good run up until then.
I broke it the tail end of last season, the season before,
Right,
and got back. Then it hadn't healed properly, and I just played on with it, and it finally snapped. But no, I just always knew that if I was fit, I would do all right. You know, in the team, you can't make excuses for somebody rolling their foot and breaking their foot, or somebody doing their knee, their cartilage in their knee, like I did in numerous occasions. It's just the big guy upstairs. You know, it's the act of God for me. It's unstable pitches as well and things. But no, I never thought I would be injured as much as what I was, to be fair.
Yeah. The season after John Connolly comes in, were you excited to work with him, and how good was it to sign a 3-year contract? Was that just your future kind of sorted at the time, do you think?
Well, Starkey was there, and I'd broke my foot just before I broke my foot. In fact, Partick Thistle in the Premier League, Derek White and Jerry Britton get the job.
Yeah, that's right.
They made an approach in January to St Johnstone to take me on loan for 6 months, and St Johnstone said, "No chance, we're challenging for the title, not a hope in hell." So Starkey told me that, broke the news to me. In fact, no, Derek White told me. I bumped into Derek White in town, and he said, "I tried to take you on loan today," and I was like, "All right." I said, and the following day, my foot fractured and broke.
Right.
It was, what you say it, like for that season with John Connolly, I spoke to Starkey. I was getting a new contract at the end of the season. He said, "Yeah, I want to keep you, no want to let you go." But I took a big, massive drop in salary. St Johnstone sort of had me with the goalies, as they would say, and they offered me shit money. I had nothing else going. I still had 6 weeks of rehab to do before I could get back into the team. So I signed the contract, and it was a 1-year contract only. And to be fair to Stuart at the time, he said, "If you get fit, we'll reward you with another contract, you know, and do well." And I came back flying. I absolutely came back flying. I scored a right few goals my first 5 games, I think. And before the November, they came back and offered me a new deal. Mm-hmm. And I was was a Mapport at the time. Because I think I could be as a Bosman, I'm sure. And I sort of had them over a barrel, and I got a good contract offer. I'm very happy with it, and it was a 3-year deal as well. So, again, I love my time with St Johnstone, so I thought we could have it up. And we were always challenging first, second, third place. You know, it was always close.
Yeah,
that was it.
Aye, it was a kind of disappointing season that season for the club. You finished 8th, but you were top goal scorer for St Johnstone. Did you feel that season you were kind of getting fit and getting kind of on the score sheet a lot?
Aye, well, that was one of the best seasons probably performance-wise I had. But again, the recruitment wasn't great, and we were lucky. I think we went through the Christmas period, and we won 5 games. I think that winning 5 games in the bounce sort of kept us up. To be honest, you know, so it was probably a season to forget. And obviously John left at the tail end. John Weir took over and for a couple of games, and Coyle came in.
How excited were you when Ron Coyle was get the job? Were you, obviously, he was a big striker, big name striker in the 90s, but how excited were you that he was going to be the new manager?
Aye, very. I'd heard good things about him, to be honest, and Jim Weir was in charge of the team. Yeah, and we played Partick Thistle away. Was it Partick Thistle? Was it away? Yeah, it was. And I think I scored a hat-trick, if I was right. Mm-hmm. And Coyle was on Sports Scene that night, and he was announced he was getting the job, or a couple of days later he was getting the job, whatever it was, and saying that, and he said that, you know, we've got MacDonald, they're the best striker in the Championship or the First Division, mm-hmm. You know, things like that. So straight away you're hearing that, and you're getting a wee ego boost. Yeah, definitely. You get a bit of faith in you, and when they came in, it was night and day. And to what it was, you could lose 5-0 on a Saturday, and the Monday morning, the first person you'd meet as you walked down the stairs to the dressing rooms would be Coyle, and it'd be just cheery, chirpy. How you doing, Peaso? All right, lads, what's happening? Looking forward to the day, shooting again, you know, wee games, and it just get you back buzzing again. Yeah. So you know, it was the club took a big leap forward there, and his Coyle's recruitment was very good. We lost in the last kick of the ball to get that year. Yeah, and you obviously you got a bad injury in that season. You don't play again until February, and then you play a couple of games and miss the rest of the season. But the season after, you going into that season, like, did you feel kind of ready, as you say, like that season was the season after was the season you've done really well in the cup, but were you, once the kind of that injury was over, did you feel good? It was a knee injury I had, and I just couldn't shake it. I had to get cut operations on it, and I shook it for the following season. And I remember coming off the bench in the first game of the season and scoring against Queen of the South. I think that'd be right. Yeah. In a 4-0 win, and I played a part in every single game that full season, which going back in the 3 years before it, I couldn't have imagined. You know, and that season again, Coyle built up a great squad to go meet a proper challenge at the title, and we're just unlucky. One player who came in that season was Ryan Stevenson. How good was he as a player, and what was the favourite memories of him? Brilliant character. Steve was young. He came, he was fairly young. You know, he's a cracking lad, good player. He had a lot of attributes. Fitness being one. He had legs on him. Great with 2 feet. Left foot, right foot, switch your play and things. But I didn't know where Steve's best position was. Mm-hmm. Coyle played on the right hand side, whereas as he progressed through his career, he played central. Mm-hmm. Then latterly he played up top for Hearts. You know, yeah. You know, for Steve's best position, I think, was probably centre mid. But we had a good centre mid at the time. So then Steve gets edged out, young boy, fit, energetic, and he goes out to the right hand side. Steve was a cracker as well. At the time, he was a big fan of himself, and he had a few pranks played to him. Did I ever tell you he was at Chelsea? Oh, he used to share digs with John Terry. Aye. No, you never. Don't lie. No, Steve was involved in a bit of banter and was caught out with a few lies, to say the least. But he's a top boy. He's
a good boy. Yeah, brilliant. One game that will stick out to that season was the one at Ibrox in the League Cup. Like I've generally never ever seen a result of that. How did you feel going into that game, and what was the aftermath like?
We thought we could beat them. We generally thought we could beat them. I played the last 15 minutes that night, and going into the game, Coyle went, we're going 4-4-2. We're going to go right up against them. I feel we could beat them on our day. And again, we thoroughly deserved the win. It could have been more than 2-0. They were under a shaky peg with Le Guin at the time, proper shaky. And I think they fielded a couple of players, but I think Danny, he played centre back rather than centre mid. And against Savo's pace and Jason Scotland's power, we always thought we could have a right go here. Although Rangers did have our chances that night, but we deserved. As soon as we went 2-0 up, it was they won the winning. We knew. Then we went out that night. All the boys went out, and I had a party back at my flat. Not a party, but we took all the boys out. We all went out, and 5 or 6 of them back at my flat, and I had fireworks left there, these rockets, and set them out outside. I had private gardens outside the back, and fired it into the sky. Next minute, one of the neighbours must have phoned the post. Listen, can you keep the noise down? And we opened the door, and there's a couple of Rangers fans. The quarters, a couple of Rangers fans. They're like, and they recognised a couple of these, and they're like, listen, just keep the noise down. Enjoy your night. Name our fireworks. All right, no worries, officer, not a problem. And we shut the door. And we obviously kept the fireworks inside, but we had a good wee night.
Brilliant. That season, you get to the semi-final of both the League Cup and the Scottish Cup. How good was that achievement to get to that stage in the 2 big cups?
Again, we fancied ourselves against everybody, because you look at the teams we beat. Through that, we beat Falkirk. We beat Motherwell, is that right? Yeah. One of the cups. It was Premier League teams we were beating. Celtic beat us 2-1 at Hampden in the Scottish. But the first one up was the League Cup semi at Tynecastle against Hibs. That's probably the best atmosphere I've ever played in. Tynecastle filled to the brim. Yeah. St Johnstone had the behind the goal, and Hibs had the full other 3 stands. It was amazing. And again, that was a Hibs team that were top team at the time. You'd behind goals, you'd Andy McNeil, you'd Stephen Whittaker, David Murphy left back, Rob Jones, I think, centre back. Yeah. Stella Martins, the other centre back who went to West Brom. Yeah. You had Buzelin, Mikey Stewart, Scott Brown, Ivan Sproul, Stephen Fletcher, in midfield and up top. So it was a team. The wee Moroccan was he? I think was it Zamama? I think he was playing that day. So it was some team, and we took them to extra time, albeit we lost 3-1. But it was against Celtic. And I've watched it back a couple of times. The second half of the game, we battered Celtic. We absolutely battered Celtic, and lost 2-1. But I suppose end of the day, it's getting into the next round that counts. Definitely. The league campaign, you'll remember, obviously pretty well up until the last day. Nick, how kind of close was it with Gretna up until the last day? Was it just a slog up until the end? No, I think they were 12 points clear at one stage, and we had 2 games in hand. And Coyle says they won't win another game. I'm telling you now, they won't win another game. We just need to keep winning, and we won, and we won again. Then on the Tuesday night, we played Clyde at Broadwood, and Gretna were they were at the game. Players, so if we'd lost that, they'd have won the league or drew it. And McCarthy popped up with a goal 15 minutes ago, and we won 1-0. So I took it to the Saturday, and that's probably the worst I've ever felt in my career. That moment where we had to beat Hamilton, we had to basically beat Gretna's result. And we were 3-0 up against Hamilton. We had 4,500 at New Douglas Park, St Johnstone fans. Yeah. And they were at Dingwall, playing Ross County. We were 3-0 up, 3-1, 3-2, 4-2, 4-3. So our game kicked off 5 minutes early. So we're getting, Stephen Millen was injured and he's got the earphones in. He's saying, "Oh, it's 2 each. And injury time, last minute injury time, blah, blah, blah." And in the dressing room, we're all waiting, just sitting waiting. And he's got his earphones. I'll never forget. He just turned around and just says, "They scored." And we couldn't believe it. We were devastated. Absolutely devastated. Then James Grady scored in the last kick of the ball. The final whistle went right after that.
And see, how good was Owen Coyle's man management after a thing like that?
Oh, brilliant. He was, it was the players that did everything for him, he says. He was always big and heaping praise on his players. And I think that was why he was so successful at St Johnstone, even latterly went to Burnley from it. It was just that the enthusiasm we had. The boys wanted to run about for him. His training was fantastic. The boys wanted to train every single day because it was fun and it was intense, But my management skills are brilliant. Yeah,
and the season after that, was it just the target to get back up?
Aye, it was again like the same scenario. Build a squad, challenge for the league again, and again we assembled a good squad, but just not quite the squad that was going to take us up. You're just falling short maybe with 2 or 3 players, or one or 2 players, or even the size of the squad players. But that's what it was. And I think Coyle left in November, if I'm right.
Yeah, well, I was just going to touch on that. Owen Coyle obviously leaves 3 days before the Challenge Cup final. Like, were you sad to see him go, or did you kind of understand how big a job Burnley was for him?
Well, obviously the Burnley gig was a massive one, as you're saying. But it was more being happy for Coyle to go and get the opportunity. Because it was so good for St Johnstone. He was excellent with me, excellent for the boys who were there. So for him to go and earn his right to go and try and get into the Premiership was great. And all the boys wished him well, and he thoroughly deserved it at the time.
Yeah. How difficult was it though, 3 days before a big cup final, to be losing your manager?
Well, Sandy stayed for that. Sandy Stewart never went to Burnley till after that. Sandy was offered the job, said no, went with Coyle. At the end of the day, a cup final is a cup final. It shouldn't matter what if your manager leaves or no, because the 11 players or the 16 players in that squad, it's a one-half game, and to win it, the desire and things like that should be a given. You can make an excuse your manager wasn't there or we lost a manager, but no, we went out that day with Sandy, and Sandy said, "Listen, this is the team. Go and win a cup final." And that was it, basically. And that's what we did. We went out and won it.
You go 3-0 up in that cup final against Dunfermline after 30 minutes, and it finishes 3-2. How good a feeling was it to win your first honour in football?
Was that against us, Scott?
You won 3-0 against Dunfermline after 30 minutes. You go 3-0 up after 30 minutes, and Dunfermline come back and make it 3-2. But you won the game. How good was that feeling to win that tournament?
It was brilliant. It was brilliant. I know it was only the Challenge Cup. It was obviously the Premier League teams only in it, but for the smaller teams to get into a cup final, I think there was 7,000 there, 8,000, which says enough at Dens Park. You're right. We went 3-0 up, then 3-1, 3-2, and it was 3-1. Sorry, just before half time. Then they scored 10 minutes into the second half, and it was back to the walls, and I mean back to the walls for the rest of the game. They battered us, and against St Mirren Dunfermline had a right good team, but managed to see it out, and we won. And
see, after that, your teammate Derek McInnes gets the job. Were you glad that it was somebody that was in the setup that got the manager's job?
Oh, Dale was a top draw. He's a great teammate. I was at Rangers with him as a kid. He was brilliant with me, and he was always going to be a manager, Dale, because I think he was taking the resis as well. The kids, he was doing that quite a bit at weekends. So for that, it was good that the club sort of had a continuity of someone who'd been in the dressing room and just carried on what Clyde was doing. And Dale came in and he was different class, different level, to be honest.
Brilliant. The season after, you score the goal note the first day of the season, you pick up some bad injuries and you kind of lose your starting place in the team. How hard was that to take, like losing your place in the team?
It's probably due to my own fault. I was out for a period of time with a double hernia through that summer, and I was never fit enough to just get right into pre-season. I had to do my own wee mini pre-season, then I go into it. But I started the first game of the season, as you said, I scored to the 1-2-0. I scored the first one to put us ahead in the second half against Livy. And the following week I was dropped. I didn't play well enough. I played in the right wing, to be fair. Then the second half I went up top. It wasn't good enough for me. I was out of shape. I wasn't as sharp as I should have been. So I'd probably say I was doing it myself, albeit getting into niggle injuries, which happened because I tore my hamstring as well. And I was out for 6 months for that. So that was horrendous. That wasn't really sorted out until the following summer, because I kept trying to come back fit and tearing it, come back tearing it. I think I did it 5 times in like 5 months or 5 or 6 months, you know. So it wasn't great. I had to go over to Bayern Munich doctor to finally get it.
Oh, really?
No.
And see that season, you obviously won the league that season. Who were the important players in that title winning team?
Oh, it was a good squad. You know, Jody Morris was in it. There was loads. You know, Paul Sheeran, Stevie Mullen.
He was a really good player, Paul Sheeran.
Colin Samuel that year. I think Alan May was a goalie. Would that be right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Also, you know, Goran Stanic, who was brilliant. He was frightening. Him and Peanut on the left-hand side. So with a good squad of players, Kevin Moon, young Mooner at the time, through and he managed to break into a team who are challenging at the top of the league. You know, that says enough about him and the future that he could have had, albeit he had horrendous groin injuries, pelvis injuries. Yeah.
How excited were you to win the league and go back up to the SPL?
No, it was brilliant. I think something that each season, when you assemble a squad, do your pre-season, you always hope, especially at St Johnstone being in the Championship, that you had a big enough and good enough squad to challenge. And we definitely knew that we were going to challenge, definite. And that's what we did. So we turned the right and get something at the end of it, all that hard work, was just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Brilliant. You go back up to the SPL and you don't play till December. I take it that was because of your hernia, yeah?
No, that was for the hamstring.
Hamstring.
That was a hamstring. Yep. I came back. I did it again, like that period of time where I did it. I think the last time I did it was in October. And Del says I came back. I'd lost a stone in weight. I was fit. I could run straight lines. I just couldn't do that explosive burst, that sprint. And Del says, "No, I need to get this fixed." I said, "Oh, what are you thinking?" I think it was over to Hans-Willer Wolfhard, the Bayern Munich goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I say it's because loads of people went to like Michael Owen, Usain Bolt, Neil McCann at the time. He'd been over to see him because he'd recurring hammy injuries, and I went over and I got the treatment. I got the goat's blood injections into my hamstring. It was brilliant. To be fair, I felt come back and felt like a new man. I'm still another month to 6 weeks away for another month for training. Then the time we fight your way into the squad, I was 4 weeks. And I remember I think I was on the bench at Hamilton. It was the first time, and Del says to me on the Friday, he said, "You'll be on the bench tomorrow, so keep that hush." I was like, "Oh, right." And I actually attended a friend of mine's funeral first with Del, because we both knew my mate Robert, and went there, and then we went to the game. So and I never got on, but it was just great just to be in the pitch again and getting changed into the strip. Yeah.
You scored a hat-trick away to Motherwell in a few games after you come back. Like, how good was that to get a hat-trick in the SPL and get back to scoring goals the way you should have been?
It was just a hunger. You know, been out for so long and no really knowing what was right to start with, then finally getting it sorted. That game was, I remember it clear as day. It was Boxing Day, wasn't it? You said
it was, yeah.
And I remember going down 1-0 Steve Jennings' header. It was me and Kenny Duker up front at the time, and we were at half time, and the gaffer Dale just says to Jukes, "You, Af, Savo, get ready, Owen. We need more fees, blah blah." And me and Savo went out, sort of twos, went out and sort of with the help of others, we tore it. And I was just fortunate enough to get a hat trick, which was obviously something I'll never forget, especially beating Chris Boyd that year to the first hat trick in the Premier League.
Brilliant. Derry McInnes brought in Jody Morris and Michael Duberry in the couple of years he was there. Like, how good was their experience? Obviously, they played at a high level at Chelsea. Was that experience kind of valuable to the team?
Jody was playing at a level where he should never been playing at. He came to us. I generally left Millwall. I think he'd done his cruciate and left Millwall. I think he played a wee bit for Rotherham. Then he was a championship player in England all day. You know, if not in a Premier League team. But for some way, he lost his way, came up to us. And it was a masterstroke for Dale, because Dale played with him at Millwall, and he'd obviously seen firsthand how good he was. Yeah. And when he fell out for Millwall and came up to us, he almost signed in March, I think. Would that be right? March.
Yeah, it was, yeah. You're right.
Maybe. So doing that, and again with big Dubs. Dubs was I'm not sure if it would be Reading.
I think it was Reading, yeah.
Was it leaving then? And duties, obviously Dubs been very friendly with Jody. We got Dubs up, and Dubs had another couple of years in him. Which was a great signing. Yeah,
definitely. You get injured again, Scott. Do you remember getting injured scoring against Kilmarnock? What happened there?
I went to side foot, placed the ball on my side foot, and as I opened my body at a side foot, and Simon Ford's tried to tackle me, but as he's tackled me on my standing knee, my standing foot, as I bent down to side foot it, his full body weight's went on my right knee, and as I went down, I've just had a crunch, and I didn't realise what it was, and I tried to get up, and I couldn't bend my knees. I could only bend it backwards so far and forwards so far. So it was a thing called articular cartilage. No, articular cartilage, sorry, a buckle handle tear, which means you can't move it certain ways backwards or certain ways forwards. So I had to, again, straight away I knew. I tried to carry on, jogged to the halfway line, I went to just sort of half jog, and I had to fall. I couldn't carry on, and again that was horrendous, knowing that I got myself back into the team. I think I scored 5 and 5.
Yeah, it was a really good run up until that.
Or 6 and 5, whatever it is, games. And to know that that's your season done with, wasn't very good. I was out of contract as well, so it wasn't ideal. But
and did you know that the next season was going to be your last season? Did you have a feeling you were going to get a new contract?
No. Well, when Dale says to me, I'm going to try and get you another contract. He says, I think you've done enough in the bit you were back. You were my biggest threat as a striker. I think you did enough in the 3 months you were back to earn a new deal. He said it might go in reduced terms, but I'm going to speak to the chairman. And we actually played Kilmarnock. I think it was away again the next time round. And he told me to pick me up at the house because I couldn't drive. I was in a brace. And he said, listen, I've managed to get you a new deal. And I was like, oh, in the car. He said it's reduced a wee bit reduced terms, but it's an appearance-based sort of one, whereas you get a basic and you've got a high appearance. And I was like, I don't care. I don't care. And it was a 6-month deal. So 6 months, I said, that's fine. I got fit, and I thought, I'm sure I come back and played a lot of games that year. Then he said, listen, I want you to sign on again. And I actually had the options to go elsewhere. And a couple of times at St Johnstone, but at that time I had options to go, and I thought, no. I said, that's fine. And I signed another 6-month deal that took me to the summer. Albeit it wasn't my best goal scoring season. I think I scored 1 goal.
Aye.
But we were toiling to score goals as a team. And at the end of the season, I get let go.
And how do you look back now? Your time at St Johnstone, was it just a great club to be involved in?
It was brilliant. A great family club. The chairman, Jeff, it was ran properly. It was never ever. I never had one bit of debt. they would not get into debt. They would not spend any more than what they could afford. And it's the same to this day. St Johnstone will never outspend any other team just for their ego. It's a well-run club, like I said, and being a player there, you're well looked after. We were well looked after, and there's wee bits about the club that makes you appreciate, the small things they do for you. Put you up in the hotel night before sometimes, or pre-match meals at the stadium, things like that. It was great. A lot of clubs don't do that.
Brilliant. Obviously, Alan Moore signed you for Morton after that, and after a trial you had, and you reunited with your old pal Andy Jackson. How good was that to be at Morton with him?
It was brilliant. I knew Jacko was signing. I was the day after I got released. I got told on the Friday. I captained the side at Saturday. Then I left. Obviously, that was my last game. The Sunday, I had a phone call from Alan Moore. Wanted to sign me for Morton. It wasn't a trial. Just wanted to sign me. I said, to be honest, I want to try and stay in the Premier League. So I'm not going to commit. He said, why don't you come in pre-season? Do a pre-season with us. You can see what the Morton's all about. And that. I was like, right, okay. And there's a wee story to this, believe it or not, where I had my agent try to get me clubs, and it was always at the time, I like him, injury prone, no, I like him, but there was no concrete sort of offers. But I went into Morton and I played against Motherwell in a pre-season game. And I had heard St Mirren were interested, Danny Lennon at the time.
Yeah.
But they couldn't do anything until they got left back in.
Right.
And at the time when they signed Tesla, but they had no left back in. So I was like, right, okay. So I'm waiting week after week. So it's 2 weeks, and Murray says, listen, I've got a couple of trialists in. If you're not going to sign, I'm going to sign one of the trialists. So you need to let me know what's happening. That's the Friday. I said, right, okay, I'll let you know on the Tuesday, the Monday. So I left it up for a weekend, nothing for a month. And I said to Murray, I said, right, okay. He's like, what are you going to do? I said, I'll sign if I get this, and he gave me what I wanted. So with the game the Tuesday against Motherwell at Capello, a friendly pre-season, and I have a great 45 minutes, excellent 45 minutes, but I signed before the game. I actually signed the contract before the game. So James Grady was there, and James Grady was actually asked to go and do a final report on me. Danny Lennon, James, what do you think of Peaso? But I said, sign him all day long, great character, great boy, great for St Mirren, would be a good player for you. I said, I would definitely sign him. I said, right, okay, he's playing the night, could you get a chance you can nick my line to Morton and see him? So James did a report on the first half, and when I say I was actually excellent, no blowing my own trumpet. Me and Andy Jackson up front, and it came over the tannoy at half time that, and delightful news, delightful news, Green at Morton have now signed Archie Campbell and Peter MacDonald before the game. So James is in the stand, he's like, they've come full time, and he says to me, he says, what about you? And I said, what? He says, I'm here doing a report on you, a final report for Danny Lennon to take you, to sign you, and you sign there. I said, well, I never knew. He went, well, what's for you, I'm not going to buy you. So that's the story of linking up with Jacko again.
Brilliant. What was the dressing room like when you were in at Morton?
It was good. It was good. I've never been in any really bad dressing rooms, to be honest. That was a good dressing room. The second year was better. With a right good side, the second year, right good side. If it was, to be honest, if I'm not going to lie, if we got a wee tiny bit more investment in a couple of players, I think we'd have won the league. To be honest, because we were challenging, we were points ahead of Peaso. I think 9 points. They'd like 3 games in hand, albeit, but it's better having the points on the board. And with the chance, I think, to sign Simon Menson, who ended up going to Hamilton, we never signed him, and that was a big one. I think because Simon could play right back, centre mid, especially when you're running with a tight 18 squad at Morton. And I think Dunfermline went into administration. Dunfermline did, yep.
Yeah. And
it was Peaso who signed Andy Dowie, who was a good signing for them, and John McMahon. So they'd actually added, whereas we didn't do anything. And I think that was where it could have been added to at the time and gave us a bit of momentum and putting a marker down saying, what, we're going to get another 2 players in for the squad. and it never materialised, and we obviously lost the title and finished second.
And do you look back at that spell as an enjoyable time in your career?
It was just to get back playing properly again. You know, I played the full season. The first year I scored 15 goals. In the second year, I didn't play until I came back in the summer with plantar fasciitis in my foot.
Yeah.
And it just wouldn't settle down, so I had to get a wee operation. I ended up being out for 5 months with it, because for the period of time I tried to let it settle, I'd probably been quicker just getting it up. So I came back after like 2 weeks of doing my own running and training and that, and my first day's training where he's like, I'm putting you in the bench tomorrow. It was on a Friday. I was like, what? He went, I'm putting you in the bench. You're better than the other ones here, so the way you've trained there. And I was back before I knew it. I think I scored 15 goals in 15 games when I was back.
You did great. 9 goals in 6 games in February and March. I've got here. Was it 9?
Aye, it was flying. And in between that sort of time, I'd been sort of speaking to Dundee as well. So after getting back so quickly and doing well, scoring 9 goals.
Yeah, and you're reunited with Bomber at Dundee. Were you excited to go there?
Aye, I'd met Bomber and I'd probably say spoke to him at a funeral. Somebody who we'd both worked with at Rangers, one of the kitchen staffs. I said, I threw in tongue in cheek, I just said, "Be looking for a striker next year?" And he said, "Actually, I said, well, give us a phone." He's laughing, and he said, I'll keep you in mind. I said, "Make sure you do." And he sent. I think he watched me 4 times. I think his brother came to watch me, 2 scouts came to watch me, and he came to watch me himself. And again, I think that was around about February, March time. I'm sure it was, where I scored all 8 goals, and I think I'd won like 3 man of matches in a row, or 4 in a row. And he says to me, "No matter what league we're in, I'm going to sign you. So if we're still in the Premier League, then I'll sign you. If we're in the Championship, the First Division, I'm going to sign you." So I said, right, okay. And so I knew I was going to Dundee. So it was just basically about trying to win the league with Morton.
Yeah.
Before I'd left, you know, I'd left. So.
And after that, you kind of start really well. When it was a really good team Dundee had at that time, like Gavin Ray and Craig Beattie. Who did you feel were the good players in that team when you went in?
Straight away, when Bomber told me who he was keeping, I thought, right, that's a strong squad. And he was saying to me he was going to add a few. And I thought straight away, we're going to win this championship. We will win this championship.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect Hamilton to be there. I'll be honest. At the time, I just thought, no, we've got a great squad. We could win this, and which ultimately happened. But it was good that Bomber. It was Bomber's squad. He assembled it at the start of the season. It wasn't Paul Hartley's. It was Bomber's. And Bomber's got to take a big bit of credit for assembling a squad and winning the championship, as it was known to be. After I think September, they changed the name, what it was called.
Yeah, and obviously, like you have a great start to the season. You're scoring goals for fun. Were you glad you were enjoying your football again and scoring?
I loved it. I had, the thing is, I was 33, I think, when I went. Mm-hmm. So 33, and there's people. Well, my brother, I'm not big. I don't go into forums or online like that. But my brother's, he's into it. He follow whatever and things like that. And other ones in the Pine Bovril, he said, and he would on and says like, I was saying, why are Dundee signing this older player, injury prone, this and that, and he's too old, he'll never make it. And they said there was Morton fans sticking up saying, no, you've signed a great striker there, he'll do excellent fees. And so I sort of had a bit between my teeth where I went on holiday early, and I come back. So I had my 2 weeks in holiday early. In fact, sorry, I'm lying. I had 5 days in Ibiza with the boys first for Morton. 6 with the boys. And then a week later, I went away with my missus. Came back really early. Did a proper pre-season, and I had to go in there thinking, you know what, I need to show that I'm fitter than a majority of the boys that are there. Mm-hmm. And I was flying. I got into really good shape, and it helped as well where I get right into the goal scoring. Early doors in the first league game of the season. I I scored then. A couple of cup games midweek, I scored a last-minute free kick in extra time against Forfar. The week later, we had them in the CIS Cup, and I scored a 30-yard free kick into top corner against them again. So I scored 2 that day. So I think in the first 4 games, I scored like 4 goals. So it was a very good start to my career.
Brilliant. And that season, obviously, Paul Hartley comes in after Bomber leaves. Like, were you kind of sore at how Bomber left? Like, what actually happened there?
I think Bomber was. I think there was underlying things regarding. We lost a couple of games. We lost heavily to Falkirk, albeit we got a goal sent off. We lost 3-0 with Falkirk away. There was no rumours, but Bomber's training was brilliant. Everything was brilliant. The way he ran the place, we ran the boys. It was great, manager. There was no old school left in him. The shooting ball and was gone. He told me that before I'd signed. And I think it was underhand tactics from Dundee that made that. I think they tapped Hartley up because Hartley resigned at Alloa, and 6 weeks later he's on a gig at Dundee. And Bomber was trying to make signings for next year. He was trying to take things, pre-contract for boys, and there was other players he was trying to bring in, and the board were going, no, this new, and we played Alloa. It was Alloa at home, and we were 1-0 up until the 94th minute, and Alloa equalised. So if we won that, we were 4 points clear at the top of the championship. But we won that, we were only a point clear. If we drew that, we were only a point clear. And Bomber had enough. He'd had enough just with the board and the lies, not the lies, but the things not progressing for the following season what he tried to build on. Yeah. And I think he walked, but he didn't exactly walk without something, but he never messaged the boys, and just that was him. Time done.
And Paul Hartley comes in. Were you excited to work with Paul Hartley when he got the job?
I played with Zeke. I played with Paul at St Johnstone for a couple of years. Knew him well. Seen his rise at Alloa, and obviously being an ex-teammate. I text him every time they won the league. No, Zeke, well done, mate. Blah blah blah. The following year, just the chance. It was just because I'd sort of get into contact with him. And plus, as assistant at Alloa, was my good mate Paddy Conley, who had played with St Johnstone. So I was tight with Paddy coming through. Just a wee message to both from saying, well done, great in the championship now. See is maybe getting into Prem next year. No tongue in cheek. That sort of banter. But I was because he did well at the 2 clubs. He came in and things changed straight away though. It was with a mini pre-season. We got a mini pre-season for Tam Ritchie, who was the fitness coach. Paul had heard that we weren't fit enough. But after a week, Tam says, no, you're very fit. He said, the only thing is, you have no get much blistering pace through the team. He said, Martin Boyle was the only one with proper pace. So that stopped. A few of the boys, I think they changed formation and things like that. I started playing up top myself. I didn't really like it, but we were winning. So then finally went back to 4-4-2, and that's when we sort of kicked on. And the rest is history. But no, Zeke was good. To be fair to him, it was good. I liked his working week as well. Yeah.
What was that?
Like, if you played on just due to my knee, what I would do is I'd play Saturday, I'd Sunday off, I'd come in and I would do a spin class on the Monday. Right. I did that from when I left from St Johnstone, maybe in my last year. It was Derek McInnes who told me to do it because he had the same knee problems as me. Did it in Morton for the 2 year, then took it into Dundee. But I did that actually. I actually travelled up to Dens Park and I did it in the spin bike in the gym. So it was like a 45-minute blast, just with no load on the knee. Tuesday was a monster session, like a hard session, horrible, absolutely horrible. Wednesday off. Thursday it was more 11v11, then finish wee games, like shaping up a little bit. Yeah. Boxes, shape, volleys, then up the road for the game Saturday. So I did like his working week.
Brilliant. You scored the winning goal to secure the title. How good was that feeling?
Amazing, absolutely amazing. Again, something I worked for all year long. I only missed one game that season, and to play a big part in it, with the goals I scored and finally getting an end product at it, with a league title. It was just amazing. It was the best year of my life, to be honest. It still is. My son was born. We won that league title. I scored the winning goal. I won, 10 Player of the Year awards. We went to Ibiza with the boys, the full squad. Dundee paid it. A great week there. It was just out of this world, and it was something that it was. I'd probably say it was the best dressing room I've ever been in.
Brilliant. You've had a crack at the Premiership, and some good players come in. Like who impressed you when they come in? Like kind of Greg Stewart, Paul McGowan. Like were they kind of good players?
Aye, Paul McGowan. Yep, I knew McGowan. I knew him. I knew he was very good. Money, greeting face, wee shite, but his demands were that high. Greg Stewart, I knew him from playing the year before, Cowden Beef. I actually put him in my team of the year. The year before, you get the vote, the Premier League vote. I put him in my team of the year, and I thought he's very decent. And Paul McGinn was right back as well. Paul McGinn, who was at Dumbarton part time, and he was way better than that. You could just tell I never seen him get beat. Somebody took him down the line, and never ever seen him get beat. And when they added them, Gary Harkins came in, a good squad. Simon Ferry, and at the time, a boy for Germany, Luka Tankulic, who had an unbelievable pre-season, then sort of drifted into the abyss. Thomas Conrad, another centre-back who was for Germany, he signed with Luka Tankulic, who was very good. He had a couple of years there, and he's Kalush now in Germany. So it was a good squad, and Kevin Thompson as well. Albeit Tom will get a wee bit injury prone, couldn't do quite what he used to do, as in for 2 games in the bounce or whatever, 3 games in the bounce in a week. But you can still see he had qualities. But it was a good squad we assembled, and we played some really, really good football that year. Yeah,
definitely. You only played twice, and do you pick up a bad injury after August?
Aye, what happens is the start of the season, it was always going to happen. Paul Hartley was going to bring in his new signings and start them. So Luca was in, and I think it was 3 games in I finally got my chance, because Luca didn't really do that well in the first 3 games, or first 4 games. So I managed to get in, cement my place against, I think it was, I come on against St Mirren at Love Street, half an hour to go. I've been coming on half an hour, and doing really well in the half an hours. And I played Thistle the week before, played 90 minutes, then I get dropped again, the bench against St Mirren. So Luca get a hook, I get back on, score the winner with 7 minutes to go. We win 1-0. Tuesday night we play Rafe Rovers in the Cup. Start that, me and Greg Stewart up top. 4-0 we win, score again. I get taken off at 63 minutes. And I'm going, what's going on here? And Paul could see I was raging. And he said, no, don't worry, I'm keeping you for Saturday. I played Celtic Saturday on Sky. I thought, right, okay. So I started that game, and I had a great first half, absolutely excellent first half. But just before the end of the first half, it's a through ball played, and Craig Gordon was coming out, and I'm sprinting through, and I try to lob him, and I lob him, but it goes over the bar. But it's my momentum, his momentum, we clash, and man hits his knee. And unknown to me at the time, I tore my cruciate. So I was out for 5.5 months. I played on to half time, and 5 minutes after half time, but I was kidding myself on. I had to come off, and that was 5.5 months I was in.
And how hard was that for that 5.5 months, but not been out of action?
I've been through it before. The only thing I didn't read an op. What I had to do was build everything round about my knee, my quads, or a ligament, strengthen them up, strengthen everything round about it, and make sure it was ready to go again. And I did that fairly quickly, and I think I got back into the squad start of December, from September, October, November. Yeah, I think it was 4 months, which was good for a cruciate. No, tail end up maybe just before Christmas it was. So nearly 5 months, I think, which was good. But I've been there before, so I knew what it would have took to get me back.
And obviously you get released in was it January you get released? What happened there?
What happened was I got the opportunity to go to Morton,
Right.
player coach. With I'm not gonna lie, with a nice payoff, a nice pay up. So I thought, 35, go to Morton, chance in a title, good money, a good payoff for Dundee, 18-month contract, and plus I'd done my A licence as well. I was an A licence coach, so I wanted to get into the coaching route. And before I knew it, I signed there, and I signed an 18-month contract with Morton.
And Jim Duffy obviously signed you there, and like when you come back in, you score 3 goals in your first 4 games. Like, how were you kind of juggling between doing that and coaching at the same time? Were you managing it well?
No, when I went in, the Duff says that the coach don't come, just basically win the league. Let's win the league.
Right.
And I think with a concentration just in winning the league. I think I scored 5 goals before the end of the season. Yeah, I'm sure it was 5. In the game. And a year later, from the situation I had at Dundee, I had at Morton to win a title again, which was great, and we obviously won it.
Brilliant. You won promotion the last day, and was it just a good feeling to be getting back up? And obviously, did you feel as if you'd done finished business at Morton with the first time?
No, I wouldn't say unfinished business. No, it's just more. I realised I'd hit the heights of being a Premier League player. Knew it was time to come back down the way. I'm a realist. I think was it 18 operations. 8 operations my right knee. Up to that point, I waited Morton, so, and I torn cruciate. So I knew I couldn't play forever. If I'm being honest, when I went to Morton, I'd probably say I'd lost half a yard of pace.
Right.
And that's when you sort of seem to know. But that is what it is. It wasn't unfinished business or anything. It's just the fact that my career's, I've had a good career. Maybe my last year now, I need to make as much money as I can.
Yeah.
The financial head came on. I had a kid, a young kid, and I had to think about paying the bills. And the offer in Morton was good, and it was better than any other offers I had. And I'd done Dunfermline and things like that. Wanted me in the Championship, and in the same league, and clubs and Partick Thistle and things. Wanted me. I chose Morton.
Brilliant. And that the next season, you get the offer of the academy coach at Rangers. How did that come about?
I was coaching at Partick Thistle. I was working with my good friend Scott Allison, who was the head of youth. He's head of youth at Thistle now, but it was him and Jerry Britton. I brought me in. I just qualified my B licence, went on to do my A licence, and I'd been coaching there for about 2 years. And obviously, being through the Rangers Academy, I was at Murray Park for 3 months before I left. That was something that Craig knew. I was a Rangers man. Everything knew it. And then Craig Mulholland approached me and asked me would I like to go and work with him. To be honest, it was a tough decision because I was in charge of the 17s at Thistle. I was learning. I was working with my big mate, who was an outstanding coach, Big Scott Arson, fantastic guy as well. But to go to the next stage, I didn't know what to do. So I went in to ask Jim Duffy. I went in and said, "Listen, Gaffer, I've need a word with you." He's like, "Aye." And the Duff, I still call him Gaffer. He's a top man, outstanding guy. I said to him, "Listen, this is the opportunity I've got. I got a phone call. What do you think I should do?" I said, "I really love Thistle, and it's been great, and I've got a good set up there." And he went, "Go to Rangers." So I had to phone my big mate and tell him I was leaving to go to Rangers, and I spent 5 years there, which was a fantastic 5 years.
Brilliant. You leave Morton at the end of that season as well. Did you enjoy your second spell at Morton?
I came back in the Championship and I started 6 games or something, but again, my knee, I was fit, I'm really fit, and my knee gave way again. So I had to get another op, and I came back in the January or February, got whooping cough, So I was floored, absolutely floored with that. My young second son had it as well. He was 6 weeks, he got it. So it was a horrendous feeling. It was just so knackered all the time. So before you know it, I basically played hardly any games, knew my time was up, and I was going to retire. I was just going to, you know what, into the coaching path now, going to retire, put my feet up. Then before you know it, I get Fergie phones me, Barry Ferguson, my mate, and asked me to go and join him.
And see, when you were into Clyde with Barry, what was it like as a manager, just the same as it was as a player?
Yeah, that was when you talk about it's instilled into you the winning mentality, and you know, if you're not playing well, you still run, you still try. That was it. Fergie, it was good. His training was excellent and everything. I would say he was a bit harsh, but I think Fergie's problem was that Fergie was such a good player, he couldn't realise that League Two players couldn't do the things that he could do. And that was where he maybe had to sit back and realise, you know. But the sessions he put on were brilliant. The boys loved it, and it was strange circumstances when he walked. But I had a great time there. I played a lot of games. I didn't miss any, and I scored a lot of goals. So,
and two players that were there at the same time as you they're very popular on this channel. Was David Gormley and Scott McLaughlin. What were they like? David Gormley.
Oh, Gorms.
What were they like as characters?
Gorms a fat lazy bastard. No, I'm only kidding. Brilliant boys. Again, Gorms a great lad. Absolute great lad. Mark McLaughlin had left when I went. Marco had left. So he did. Scott McLaughlin was there, who I was friendly with. The Clyde dressing room.
Scott is brilliant.
The Clyde dressing room was a good dressing room. So it was just we didn't perform as well as we should have. But there's nothing you can do about that. But no, it's Gorms and Scotty, two characters in the dressing room, as you can imagine.
They're brilliant. Barry leaves. What was it down to? Do you remember why Barry left?
Just we weren't playing well. We were just doing hull, and they didn't want him to leave, you know, and he just left. He still left.
And you and John Paul McGovern take over as interim manager. Just talk about how that went down.
We got asked basically to do it, and it was something, you know, I'd always wanted to do. But I think I scored 22 goals up until that time, and I played a couple more games, and it became where Jai was at the side because I was up top. But we signed Goody, David Goodwillie. Mm-hmm. It was sort of through him. We had no signings to bring in. Couldn't go and get into the window. We were only loan signings. Goody was with Dun juniors or whatever it was on our 21s, and we signed. I spoke to Paul Hartley and get two boys for Dundee. We needed a goalie, needed a centre back who would just put his head through a big wall, and we needed another striker. And it meant that the weakest bit was probably midfield. So Jai went into midfield. I came out the start 11. And Goody and Gorms went up top, and I went on the park, which was because it was beneficial for the team where Jai went in there because Jai was a good football player to help the team. And it was strange. It was just, you know, the chairman just said, "Listen, keep us up, really," and we did that. You know, in the last day of the season, albeit.
And obviously, after that, Jim Chappie gets a job permanently, and you get released. Like, what happened?
Well, I met Chappie. Like I said, I scored 22 goals that year. One Player of the Year, as in Team of the Year in the league. And because I'd managed the team, I met Chappie and having a Costa. He was great. Can I have a word with you? Meet you? I said, aye. Met him and he's just, listen, I can't off you. And he said, you've been their manager. I can't be seen to bring you in and you going behind my back. I'm not saying you would do it, but I said, Chappie, listen, I understand business decision. I said, but one thing, I would never do that behind your back. Mm-hmm. I said, I would still be a player in there, but there's no an issue. I was going to Stirling Albion as well. So Stirling Albion tried to take me and I got a message from Dave Mackay in January. I think Barry will let you go. I said, not a chance. I said, not a chance. So I said, no problem. And shook hands. And I signed with Stirling Albion. And funny enough, when Chappie left, Chappie got the sack from Clyde. Mm-hmm. He came into Rangers and I was in 16s, and he became my assistant at the 16s at Rangers.
Really?
So it's sort of a full, but no, Chappie, I had a great time with Chappie, working with him as a coach. Very, very good coach. You know, right football man, and I learnt a lot from Chappie, and I hold him in high regard.
Brilliant. See, when you were into Stirling, was it Dave? Obviously, you're reunited with Dave McPike. Was it just what to kind of reunite with him and get back to playing well?
I just thought when I went with Fergie, when I signed with Fergie, I got offered a good contract. To be honest, it had to be worth my while. I only trained on a Thursday, played on a Saturday because I had Rangers Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah.
So that was my priority. Coaching was my job. It was become my priority. And with Dave as well. Tuesday, I trained. Was I trained? No, it wasn't. I only played Thursday because of the training coaching.
Yeah.
So Thursday, Saturday. Then the second year was Thursday, Saturday as well. So it was just the fact that, well, you know what? I've had a good season there. A really good season. I'll get one more year. Good money again. More money than I was on the Clyde. Part time. And I was like, no, I'll get a wee shot again. And have another good season. You know, let's sign again.
And Darren Barr comes in as well. I think he gets a job after Dave McPike. What was he like as well as a manager?
He asked Daz to take over as an older pro, and he asked me if I'd give him a hand. And I said, aye. I says, not a problem, Daz. I said, but I've been in a situation before. They'll use you. I says, don't be, get him to put a time scale on it. I says, and see what happens. I says, because we spoke with the chairman. I said, Daz, what do you think? Are they going to offer the job out? Because I would be interested in the job. You would be interested in the job. And others would be. So when they meet with the chairman says, oh, no. It says, we're going to go for experience this time. Experience. With 2 young managers in the last 2 years with no experience. We're going to go for real experience this time. Then we're like, right, okay. Then next minute, Kevin Rukovic gets the job. We need experience. So Daz wasn't too happy with that. I was like, you know what? Daz, I'll help you for 3 weeks. And if you don't make the decision in 3 weeks, then I'd bin them, Daz. Tell you now. Because it'll just use you. And they did that.
And was it sore that it ended there?
No, I still played on at the end of the season.
Aye.
You know, I played on at the end of the season with Dinky. And I says to him, what's going on summer? He said, aye, there'll be something there, but to be honest, I can't offer you the new because it'll be embarrassing. This is me being 39, you know. So he says, it'll be a council waste if I offered you the new. And I knew I had an offer for a few teams. I had Steny, albeit I had offer for Stirling, Queen's Park, Pollock Juniors, all clubs that in East Stirling blowing them out of the water. And I thought, Dinky said, listen, Dinky, what's happening? And he says, oh, I'm not in a position to know, you know, you offer money. I say, well, what I do is, I've got a couple of offers. Put it out now that I'm away from the club, please. He went, all right, and he put it out, and within him putting it out, I had three clubs phoning me.
Really?
You know, aye, and I chose to go to East Stirling. So.
And how good was that? How good was that to go to East Stirling, the final club of your career? What was that experience like?
It wasn't great, to be honest. It was a good club. I enjoyed Dale that, and I enjoyed the boys. But again, I'd made it clear that coaching was my priority. I'd be away a lot of trips. For example, I went away to the World Cup for a week. I went away to a tournament in Prague for 5 days over the weekend, missed a game. Then 2 weeks later, I went to Croatia for a week. Then I went to Qatar for 2 weeks. So I was missing games, but I told them before I signed, listen, this is my priority now. This is my job. Football's my second job, my part-time job. The coaching's what I'm doing now. And basically, because I was in and out, I started the season, then I'd go away. Then he's like, oh, I can't be seen to playing you because it's not right in the boys. I said, no worries. Then I'd maybe miss a Thursday, but like 1 week it was parents' night. I had to take the parents' night for the team. and I remember scoring 2 against Stirling Uni. Then the following week I scored Berwick Rangers. We won 3-1, get man of match. Berwick Rangers won 1-0, get man of match.
Mm-hmm.
Then I couldn't make the Thursdays training, Tuesday or Thursdays. And he called me and said, listen, and just before the game I said, you need to be a sub, can I? I said, listen, you know what, I understand, I get you. I said, you can't be in there talking raging. If I go and have a shite for the day, then that's what happens. He's like, aye. So I was after, you know, and that sort of put a wee damper on it, you know, in and out. But when COVID struck, that was time to call it a day.
Yeah, and do you now that you've kind of finished playing, like obviously you're now, were you doing a bit of coaching with the SFA as well?
James Grady, I got the opportunity to go into the performance school at Kilmarnock, the Grange Academy, which is the one that produced with Billy Gilmore.
Yeah.
I was doing that for 9 months with Jamesy, which was amazing. That was absolutely fantastic. James Grady, top man, another great coach.
Yeah.
You know, he's been there, he's done it all. He's managed, he's coached, played. It was brilliant, and there's a lot of good young players in the Scottish system coming through these schools, which is sad that they're getting stopped. I think now. I think that was the last intake the summer there.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it's due to finances or what, but for me, it's a no-brainer. The schools are fantastic. And you look at the players that went and played from being in the schools and the performance schools all over.
Definitely. See, when you obviously left Rangers, how did that kind of go down? What caused you to leave Rangers?
I was there. I went to Qatar. I went to the Aspire. What's it called? The Qatar Cup, the Alcast tournament. Sorry.
Yeah.
Went to the Alcast tournament with Rangers, which is the best tournament I've ever been involved in as a player or as a coach. It was the Champions League of tournaments. It was incredible. To the facilities, to the pitches, to the standard of the teams. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Zenit, Sporting Lisbon, the Inter Milan. You know, the list was endless. It was just after that I got approached to join to CEA Base Soccer, the agency, as a consultant. And my jobs, I was always retiring in the summer, which I knew. But my jobs at the performance school and at Rangers were 0-hour contracts.
Right.
So it was very fun. And I'd actually agreed to go and join Base, and the timing was perfect because COVID hit. And if I hadn't done that, the 0-hour contract I wouldn't have get paid.
No.
You know, and I was very, very fortunate that I went into a salary. Went to we are the biggest agency in the world. Again, we're at one at the 8th or 9th time. Get top clients like Mourinho, Dele Alli, Madison, Kyle Walker. You know, the list is endless.
Enjoying doing that?
I love it. It's different. Recruitment's my role in it. Getting up in base, we work in Base Scotland, or CAA Scotland, whatever it is now. And our market is to keep controlling the market up here. The best young players coming through the clubs. Where I was in the best environment for the youth at Rangers.
Yeah.
I was in the best environment in the SFA for seeing all the other kids. So they're no daft when Elliot Fillingham and Base approached me to go into that role. And that's been, it'll be a year in March that I've been in it. 15th of March was when I went. Although I do miss being on the pitch and being in the coaching environment, dressing room environment, but it's for me, I'll not go by me. Decision I had to make.
Aye, definitely. Have you thought about maybe going back into management at some point later on?
You never know. You know, I'm going to gear a small this job. So far, I've really enjoyed it. I just need to build my own portfolio of clients up, which will take time. I'm not in any rush to do so. I'm not under any pressure. It's something that doesn't happen overnight. It's a longer process if I'm going for your 16-year-old emerging talents. So it's something maybe I'd love to get back into one day, but it would have to be the right opportunity for me to give up this job to go back into it, to be honest.
Brilliant.
That's where I'm at the moment, and that.
Brilliant. Are you all right close with some quick fire questions, Peter?
Close, crack on.
Brilliant. Your whole career, who would you say was the best player you ever played with?
Barry Ferguson, without a shadow of a doubt.
No brainer.
No, outstanding. Outstanding. Yeah.
Brilliant. Best player you ever played against?
Larson.
Right, okay. Brilliant. Favourite away ground you've played at?
My favourite one is Tynecastle.
Everybody says that.
Amazing.
Just atmosphere.
You're taking a throw in, so you're sitting taking a throw in and you get a tap my shoulder and you're getting called an arse or, or things like that. Just the guys right beside you. It's just surreal. It's brilliant. And it's when it's full, like it was the League Cup semi-final, the atmosphere was electric.
Brilliant. Interesting fact about yourself that the viewers might not know.
I've got web feet. There you go. I have.
Actually?
I swear to God, I've got web feet. I'm not going to take my toe up, but I've got web feet. Some swimmer as well.
Right, okay. We've known that before. Favourite film and TV show?
Favourite film would be Shawshank Redemption.
Brilliant.
Favourite TV show? Entourage.
Two great answers there. Best friend you've got in football?
I'll probably say between two or between three, but I'll say Bob Malcolm.
Right, okay.
Because I've known Bob since 9-year-old, 10-year-old at Rangers. Then every trip we went away, we were roommates. Then we went away with Scotland at international level. We were roommates. So, but Bob's probably, I'd probably say my best pal. Him in a close second and third between Peter Lovencranes and Alan McGregor.
Brilliant. How good a player was Bob Malcolm actually? Nobody really ever talks how good he was.
Underrated. Passing ability was outstanding.
Nah, definitely.
Lacked pace. Aye. But he read the game well. He had a fantastic range of passing, and it was hard as nails.
Definitely. Final question: the best manager you played under?
Derek McInnes.
Right. Okay. Brilliant.
Derek McInnes took things to a new level at St Johnstone. To be honest, the food went up. The standard as in pre-matches and food after games. Staying up in hotel the night before for the Glasgow boys. Just wee tiny things that, because he played at the top level in the Premiership, he took through his career and he brought it in where he could up here. So definitely Dale.
Brilliant. Peter, it's been an absolute pleasure to be on the show, mate. I can't thank you enough for coming on. I've really enjoyed it.
Thanks very much, Scott. It's really appreciate the invite.
Pleasure. Thanks very much.
No worries, mate. Thank you.
Get better real soon. Yeah, I'ma just do me, you just do you. I swear it's gonna get better real soon. Don't let anyone tell you what you should do. I got a clear view. We're gonna make it soon. Just keep pushing through.